I bought the cheapest iPhone 15. At this point, you've probably seen a ton of your favorite YouTubers take a look at the Pro and the Pro Max. And while those phones are great, I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to talk about the base model for one reason. I'm switching from the iPhone 13 mini. Tons of people are absolutely gonna go out and get that iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it's gonna be great with the Tetra Prism 5x zoom lens and 6.9 inches in your hand, or I don't know, however big it is. I'm not sure why I came up with that number. So today, let's take a closer look at what it's like to live with the base model 128GB hot pink, or mild pink, iPhone 15. They've actually done a good job with the design of this phone. Like at first glance, it looks exactly the same as every other iPhone, but it's got a nice little sort of like, not even chamfered edge, like a very soft, pillowy edge all the way around. Now, one of the things that people are very excited about is the USB-C port. I'll be real, this is a legitimately massive update to the iPhone that's probably a couple years overdue. Not only does this mean that you can use the exact same chargers and cables from your laptop or tablet or headphones to charge your iPhone, but it also means that your iPhone can then charge some other devices. Mind you, it's at 4.5 watts, but something is better than nothing. Now, the only downside here really is that the base iPhone 15 is limited to USB 2.0 speeds, whereas the Pro models get the much faster USB 3.1. We've all been using iPhones with USB 2 for like 14 years now. It's fine. So Matt over here is a big old Pro boy. Can we just see?
We're gonna be a big old boy.
I said a big old Pro boy.
It's the same size.
It is the same size. So this is the iPhone 15 Pro versus the standard 15. Let's go screen to screen because I don't want to scratch anything. Oh, they're 100% the same. Actually, I think I'm like 1/4 millimeter taller.
Okay.
It's a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger.
Some would say not, but.
Speaking of being a little too big, I still feel that way about this iPhone 15, much less the larger Plus as well as Pro Max variants. Now, as someone who is a huge fan of the iPhone mini, it definitely stung a little bit when they stopped making new models, but it surprised me that this year, not only are they not making new minis, they've discontinued the 13 mini altogether. You used to be able to get one in the Apple Store, but they're not making them anymore. The iPhone mini, I'm sad to say, is well and truly dead now.
It's a bit of a sore subject, but there is another model of the standard iPhone 15, which is the Plus, which sadly replaced the mini. And look, I could be here all day long telling you why I love the mini. Ooh, it's got ceramic shields. When I woke up this morning, I knew that the iPhone 15 was being delivered today. I picked up my mini, I literally stared at it for a moment, and I felt a pang of sadness because I have been using the mini on and off ever since the 12 first came out. Obviously, I use the Z Flip because I'm a small phone weirdo, but like the mini is such a terrific size. I know that big phones are all the rage and everyone wants that huge display, but for me, the mini is terrific. That was why I actually tried to move away. I switched over to the Pro for a little bit, and honestly, I put my iPhone 14 Pro back. I didn't even use it. I switched over to the 13 mini and I have not looked back since. The only thing I personally miss from the Pro phone, and I think it's probably gonna be the same thing for this guy, are the cameras. It does have the 48 megapixel main shooter from the iPhone 14 Pro.
This camera is a legitimate upgrade for the base model iPhone. Now you're seeing what it looks like for video right here, which is certainly my main priority, but even for the stills, having not only 48 megapixels to work with, that nice large sensor, but you also do have the new 24 megapixel base mode, which does deliver really quite nice detail. Technically, the main camera on the Pro phones is a little bit more advanced than this, but let's be honest, it's a pretty minor difference. The cameras here are incredibly well tuned, terrific dynamic range, and I have said it before and I will say it again, the video on the iPhone is the best in the business, and it is a huge reason why I continue to use the iPhone as one of my daily devices. Like I can't stop. Look at this. I'm using a DJI mic right now, right? But other than that, this is straight off of the iPhone 15. It looks absolutely terrific. I can't quite say the same nice things about the ultrawide on the iPhone 15. Now you're seeing a sample of it right now. It's perfectly fine, and for vlogging, I would say it's decent, but it is a pretty significant downgrade from what you're gonna get on the Pro phones, which is not only allow you to use macro mode, it's gonna have autofocus, it's a better camera. So the ultrawide is good enough, it's fine, but that is definitely one area where you're sacrificing spending less money to get the base phone. One good thing I'll say is that the iPhone 15 now shares the same selfie camera from the bigger brothers, which means that you're going to be getting not only autofocus, but just generally a much better looking, more detailed image. Now, having autofocus on the front-facing camera is a surprisingly big deal. It means that as you get closer and farther away, you don't have that sort of softness that was always endemic on these older iPhones with the let's be honest, pretty mediocre selfie cameras.
That is all fair enough and easy to understand. But as someone who shoots an enormous amount of video on my phone, honestly, the real reason why I actually carry an iPhone alongside my Z Flip is because of the camera and really because of the video. I find that for my specific use case, having an iPhone around to work with a lot of apps that simply don't run on Android, having editing tools, having a bunch of stuff, like, it works better on iOS. I don't want to sound conceited here, but I do use it in a pro capacity. I mean, a lot of the videos that you see on this channel are somewhat shot on the iPhone. You spend a lot of time doing like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and all that kind of stuff. And to me, I have a better experience on the iPhone. I do wish that they had at least given us the upgraded ultra wide, because that is actually a really nice sensor, especially on the Pro. Like, you could do vlogging on that. You see Matt? Look,
Yeah,
Matt's doing it now.
So I'm doing it now just to make fun of Austin. But I can't see what I'm looking at.
Switch to ultra wide.
I am in ultra wide. Are you saying I need ultra wide?
Matt, that looks beautiful.
Yeah, just because I'm in it.
Now the screen is upgraded this time around on the iPhone 15. So not only do you have the dynamic island, which I personally find to be actually quite useful for like live activities and stuff. It's better than the notch at least. But importantly, this also sees a major upgrade to brightness. That is something that literally 100% of people can find useful. If you're out on a sunny day, previous iPhones were pretty bright, but 2000 nits matches the Pro phones and the Pro Max phones and is easily going to be legible. Now, the downside to this phone, and the big thing, if you ask the comment section of this device, is the refresh rate. This is an $800 phone with a 60 hertz display. The thing is, I get it, and I understand that this is an outlier. You can find yourself a phone that costs half this much with a 120 hertz display on the Android side. And if you do upgrade to a Pro phone, it is smoother, right? You're talking about double the refresh rate, which is double the smoothness for animations, not so much for like games and whatnot. Very few games actually run at that kind of frame rate, but it does add fluidity. I will 100% grant you that using one of the Pro phones versus this, if you do them side by side, you will notice that this does not feel quite as smooth. That being said, if this is something that really rustles your jimmies, I'm sorry to say, you should go touch some grass. It's fine. And I know that people will get really upset with that. It's a nice to have thing. It is certainly a reason for Apple to try to upsell you to that Pro phone. If it's something that you are that upset about, you should probably buy the Pro phone anyway. But I would say for 98% of people on Earth, it's okay. Now we can go deep in the specs. It's not super impressive. It's using the A16 Bionic from last year's iPhone 14 Pro. Very respectable performance. You don't have all the fancy ray tracing goodies of the Pro phone, and there are other things that you're missing. So if you're looking at this iPhone and you're considering buying this or like one of the iPhone 15 Pros, to sum up really quickly what you're looking at, this is $200 cheaper. So you're talking about $800 versus $1,000 for the 15 versus the 15 Pro. Now with that, you're going to get the 120 hertz display on the Pro. You're going to get the newer A17 Pro chip. You're going to get a better ultra wide and the addition of a 3x telephoto camera. And you're going to get that sweet titanium build. And your USB ports can be a little bit faster. It's not an unreasonable amount of stuff. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if you're considering the Pro phone, it actually probably is going to be worth the upgrade. I think what Apple are charging the $200 for the difference between, it's not bad. It's not crazy. The main difference here is the fact that this is a cheaper device and there are some compromises there. If you clicked on this video and you just expected me to
Hugs.
all over the base model phone, I'm sorry to say you landed on the wrong channel, because I actually quite like this. Is it a perfect device? Absolutely not. Would I have at least put a 120 hertz display on it? Yeah. It's tough because like I think it's easy for me to fall into the trap of defending this phone. And I don't think it needs to be defended, because I think that there are going to be tons and tons of people who are going to buy the base model of the iPhone and be perfectly happy. Even the 128 gigs of storage. I was actually talking about this on Threads the other day. I bought a 128 gig iPhone 13 mini, and I've been totally fine. Mind you, I keep my camera roll pretty clean, but even with all the video I shoot, I just clear stuff off after I'm done with it, right? Like I don't leave a huge amount of stuff. Obviously, you could spend a little bit more money and get like 256 or 512, and that would be a lot more comfy. But I just think that if you are the kind of person who buys a Pro or a Pro Max every year without thinking about it, you just want the best iPhone, this is not for you. That's okay. There are other people who would like to save a couple $100 and I don't know, put that towards your credit card debt. Most everyone on YouTube who are reviewing these phones are gonna talk about the 15 for a minute and then put it in a drawer go grab their Pro Max and live their best happy life. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. Am I gonna end up with a Pro at some point? Maybe, probably, I don't know. But what I can say is this. The iPhone 15, even the base model, as much as the fandroids might be upset, and again, I wanna be super clear, I got an Android too. I love the Z Flip more than the iPhone. If the Z Flip and Android had a little bit more robust video support, especially with like a lot of apps, I wouldn't even use the iPhone, I'll be honest, I wouldn't. But this is a better experience for my work, for what I do, for vlogging, for capturing content. The photos are also really quite great, again, better than the Z Flip. It's a solid phone, and I think at 800 bucks, you can be quite happy with the iPhone 15. I wish they would bring back the Mini though. Subscribe, ring-a-ling the ding-a-ling button. And this is your yearly reminder that if this really upsets you, take a deep breath, it'll be okay.